the coffee shop in Mecca 100 years or 50 years before, or 100 years, even in Cairo 50, 60 years, even in Damascus, then Aleppo, then to Istanbul, then from Istanbul go to like Bosnia, where the way in Balkanic area they call
Oh, wow. In
Romania,
the
Bulgaria.
Balkans.
Yeah,
Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and sadly, this is the last episode of a 5-part series that has been just a joy to explore. I have learnt so much in this series, Mohammed. Thank you so much for everything that you've helped me understand about the history of coffee. A lot of it's finally falling into place for me. So today we're going to talk about, you're so welcome. Thank you. Today we're going to finish off this series by talking about coffee shops. Now tell us, how did coffee shops evolve?
From the history, when we come back, the coffee start consumed as at home or at the well-known people, if they have followers, scholars, and they just at the when we go back to the history, we find the first coffee shop was really started, like they call it coffee house in Mecca.
Yeah.
In Mecca, there are about 50 places where they serve the coffee around the holy places, Kaaba. And then because at the time was Mecca controlled by Cairo, then Cairo was the second place where the coffee spread. Let us start from Yemen, Mecca, then from Mecca, of
Cairo.
course, Medina, and then to Cairo. And Cairo was consumed first in the mosque, and then outside the mosque on the market, there are places just they serve the coffee. They make it as like just a place how to boil the coffee, brew it, and give it to the people. And the way they brew it, like, the way we call it now Turkish coffee, which is the Arabic way of the preparing the coffee. Rakwa, yeah, exactly. Just boiling the coffee and add some sugar or add some cardamom and boil it and give it to the people. And, there are also sometimes in the house when you make the coffee, take like my mom, when she prepared the coffee, I learn a lot from her, how she roasted, how she grinded, how to add this, and take sometimes really 2-3 hours preparing. Right now we need something within 10 seconds on espresso, just 25 seconds to 27 seconds.
We're very
and
impatient.
when you say the people, yeah, when you saw the people, we need to make your filter can be pour over. It will take 2-3 minutes. Oh, long time. I need something very fast.
Too long.
Express. Yeah. And in Cairo there are like a coffee shop, but in Damascus in 1530, 1540, there are documented as the first coffee shop opened in Sinaniya market, which is close to big mosque in Damascus, and was really like a big place. People, they can sit. There are a waterfall. There are a
it's
planet.
beautiful.
There are, and this was in 1530, 1540. Then when even the people, they finish from praying, especially the thinking people or the people who's very important, they need to read, to study, scholars. When they finish a prayer, they come to the cafe, they drink the coffee, and they start reading or writing. This was really documented and well documented. And then after that, from Damascus to Aleppo, from Aleppo then to Istanbul. Let me give you just a brief history. In in Cairo, there are coffee house in 1502. In Damascus, very documented history, Ibn Toulon or Ibn al-Ghazi, right, in 1534. In Istanbul, the first coffee shop opened in 1554, and this was in from Istanbul, which is there, because Istanbul take over from Mamluk on 1525.
The Ottoman Empire?
Yeah, they start of Ottoman Empire after Marjdab battle, which is 1516, 1516. Salim al-Awwal take over from Qansu al-Ghuri, and then they start the Ottoman era. The coffee shop in Mecca 100 years or 50 years before, or 100 years, even in Cairo 50, 60 years, even in Damascus, then Aleppo, then to Istanbul, then from Istanbul go to like Bosnia, where the way in Balkanic area they call Romania,
in the
Bulgaria.
Balkans.
Yeah.
Folks, our first on-demand workshop, How to Become a Coffee Consultant, is now available for you to learn at your own pace for just €50, and it comes with a certificate upon completion. Go to mapitforward.coffee/workshops or click the link in the show notes for more details. Support this podcast by supporting our sponsors.
Yeah, there are very famous and documented history in Belgrade, Bosnia, a lot of coffee houses, and even the first Western people, when they visit the Ottomanic or the Levant, they call at the time, they let us say there are one very famous guy they call Lionheart Roald, or Roald Lionheart. He was from Dutch, from Holland, from Netherlands.
Yep.
He visit Aleppo and visit Syria. They call a trip to the east. Was in 1573, and he write in his book, the people they drink a drink. They call it coffee, and is it black? And he described all these coffee in
Wow.
1573. Yeah, and there are other traveler. They call a doctor, and he's Italian. In 1580, he visit Cairo, and he write about the coffee, and he described the coffee houses and the coffee drink itself, and how they drink the coffee. And then after that, there are French traveler they call Poliet in 1658. He visit Bosnia, and he write in his books about the coffee houses in Bosnia, which is really was like high class, we call. There are like the scholars, the doctors, or the very high people.
Philosophers.
They go to the coffee shop, and yeah, because the coffee shop, the place where people they can gather together, and there are no any obstacles, and there are no any.
There's no hierarchy.
No hierarchy, and even Muslims usually they make a meeting in masjid and they pray. But if they are not in masjid, where they are will meeting, and they will meet it, chatting, gossiping, talking, whatever. and all the traveler, they write about the coffee shop. Even the people, they say there are coffee shop like in, let us say, started from Mecca, then from Cairo, then Damascus, then Aleppo, then Istanbul. And the first people who start coffee shop in Istanbul is from Syria. One guy from Aleppo, one guy from Damascus.
Wow.
Bajawi, who's Ottomanic historian, he write in his book, the first coffee shop opened in Istanbul, opened by Syrian people, one called Shams, Dean, one the other guy come from Damascus as well, and they opened near to the castle, and they opened to become very famous and very popular in 1552 or 1555 in this time. But there are 50 years before in Damascus, we have coffee as well. And after that, from Istanbul, as I say to you, go to the what we call Eastern Europe now, Belgrade, Yugoslavia, Serbia. And the first coffee shop opened in London was in 1652 by Vasco Rossi. And I think they come from, he was working in Istanbul or somewhere in Islamic world, and they opened a small, like, not a coffee shop, they like a stall, and he makes coffee and sell it to the people. In 1652 in London, and still there are places they call Vasco Rossi who started the coffee in London.
It's still
Before
there?
London, yes.
Wow.
Still there. They have it. This is the first time they open coffee. And coffee was drank in London, in England, before tea. The tea come after coffee. Okay, and then they take over, and that's why coffee wasn't popular in the beginning in London. And there are a lot of coffee shops. Even one of the kings gave like illegal to drink coffee, because a lot of problems come when the people they come and talking about politics and see something like that. Okay, and in Italy, I think the first place in Europe there was in Italy. It was in 1644, 1645, because at the time, Italy was very connected with the Islamic world, because Venice and the trader from Venice, why they trade, they have ships, and they have a very big marine ports, and they bring things from the Ottomanic or from Arabic world to Europe.
Europe.
And Italy, Europe. Italy was the first place to open coffee shop in Italy, 1645, something like that, I think, at the time. And then in Venice as well. And after that in France, in Paris in 1669. In Paris, because there are, I think, guys from Ottoman Empire go to visit Paris and they bring the coffee with him, and the French, they learn and drink the coffee out there. When you see the history, you can really easily see the coffee started in London 1650, but in Mecca 1511, there are official documents, it's halal or haram. And we have history. Ali bin Umar Shadli, he made coffee for his people in he died 1425. And all this history, documented history and well-known history is not mystery, not legend.
It's not a legend. It's clear as day.
Yeah. And even right now, if you bring a goat and give her a coffee, will the goat eat the coffee? I don't know. Maybe even Williams, when he write, even Oakers, when he write his book about the coffee history, he really says silly, because coffee is very complicated to drink. You need to prepare, need to dry, need to roast it, need to brew it. And even if we give coffee to goat, will the goat dance right now? I don't know. I need to make it. I need to make experiments.
You know what? We'll leave that to other people. Us Arabs, we've taken enough of the responsibility of getting coffee to where it is now. We'll let someone else give it to the goats.
Yeah. And I can say to you one thing. From my point of view, when I study coffee, when I get my coffee diploma, barista, all these things, and they said about the coffee waves, and the coffee started from the first wave, second wave, third wave. Even the coffee, when they prepare the coffee in Europe, they prepare it same as Arabic way. The first coffee vessel they make the coffee is coffee pot, and they make the mocha pot. You know
the
mocha
pot? Yeah,
mocha pot exactly make it a coffee. Yeah, mocha pot exactly same as a rakwa.
Yeah.
But instead of the coffee with water, they put the coffee
chamber
in the basket, and the water, the chamber, and then the water come from down. Then they throw the coffee, and then you get the coffee without the rest of the coffee.
Yeah, it's a way of filtering it.
Coffee. Yes, exactly. This is because human knowledge transfer from generation to generation.
Yeah,
we make it like
evolves.
that. Then in Europe, they evolved like that. Then when they make the coffee espresso machine, they make it very, very fast in 1920, something like the first coffee machine, espresso machine. It's come from the coffee pot, because the coffee machine, they bought the coffee and then they bought a brusher with the water to take the espresso. And people now, they said the coffee start as espresso. No, the coffee, the Turkish coffee, they call it Turkish coffee, or the Rakwa coffee, or the Della, or Kanaka, many names. This is the way we make espresso, but not like under a brusher. We don't use a brusher, because when you use 9-bar coffee brusher with 96 degrees Celsius to get the coffee drink, it really changed the property of the coffee.
Yeah.
But when you boil it with the rakwa, you feel the taste completely different.
Very different.
I did a lot of tests. Yeah, I did a lot of the tests in my coffee shop in Bath. The people never ever drink coffee like Arabic coffee or the rakwa coffee, Turkish coffee, and they love it. And they said really it's amazing. And I have a specialty coffee. I have the filter coffee. But for myself, I said, how can I make the way the Turkish coffee with the specialty coffee? This is, you need people, because they have like a roasting profile for Turkish coffee, need like a chocolatey, sweet. People in Arabic here in Arabic Peninsula in general, they don't like the citrusy or the fruity
floral
taste and the coffee. When you serve coffee with the fruity coffee here, the people say, what's this? This is not.
Or it's too sour. The acidic coffee, it's too sour, right?
While when we make a coffee Q grading, and when we cupping coffee, the coffee with high citric acid or malic acid or conic acid.
You score it up.
It's very good coffee. We score it up. This is coffee. And when I come to here in Dubai, when I serve coffee, I make it by myself. I roast coffee here in my restaurant for my customer. I roast it myself. I bring the Brazilian coffee, specialty coffee, and I have the bullet roaster 1 kilo, and I roast every day, sometimes
Oh,
like a week, 2, 3
beautiful.
times. Yeah, and make coffee. Really, I when I give my friend try this coffee. Oh, this is not okay. Try this one. The the because people they link the Turkish coffee or the way they make the coffee with a very bad way of the coffee itself, the coffee beans. Even the coffee is not graded, even the coffee is not stored very well, even the quality of the coffee. But when I make it, I roast it to myself. Oh wow! Now the people they feel different immediately. This is really good coffee. In the same way, they drink the Turkish coffee.
And this is what cultural palate is, right? Like this is our cultural palate dictates what we decide we like and what we don't like. It's so fascinating. Go on.
Yeah, let's come back to the coffee waves. They said the coffee waves started from Europe. They said the first wave, and then the second wave, then the third. But from my point of view, the coffee start first wave from Ali bin Umar
The
Shadili,
1400s.
who, yeah, 1425, 1424, who died. He started to drink coffee, and then after that, during the spread of the coffee shop evolved, and then the way they bring the coffee, and then after that, transfer from Ottoman Empire, from the Levant, from the Arabic Peninsula to the Europe, and then they start from there. They start, instead of the first wave from Europe, they should put a third wave, and then they continue with 4, 5, 6.
We should be up to wave 17 by now.
No, because now there are studies to use coffee, beanless coffee. Just
that's the next frontier. Who knows what's coming down the pipeline? Mohammad, this has been such a wonderful, wonderful series. Thank you so much for helping us understand the history of coffee. This was really insightful, and I can't tell you how grateful I am. Thank you.
I hope that I give some I shed some lights on the
You
really
did.
very dark or very
Unclear.
forgettable era of the coffee. Now I try to really because I was really very eager to know everything about the coffee. When I moved to England, I lived there. I buy any book written about the coffee, I bought it. I read it. And when I need to know really more. I need to have more details. Then when I study everything, I find nothing. There are some really blind spots need more focus, and there are big gaps between 1400 and 1600. From 1600, all the history is documented. Even they documented the name of the soldiers who take the coffee tea from the French to the Brazil. They said Matthew Gabriel, he didn't take this. But okay, where's the people who ban the coffee? Where's the people who drink the coffee? All this history, and we have a lot of, shi'r or
poems.
If you say poems, we have millions of poems written about the coffee, and they have a lot of books about this coffee halal or haram.
But it's all in Arabic.
Then but then when we come to the coffee, said, okay, the coffee started from Ethiopia, and there are legends called Kaldi, and when they are got eat the coffee, then they come dancing. Oh wow!
We can do a little bit better than that, folks. So, folks, if you happen to be in Bath in the United Kingdom, go to Lulu, which is the name of the cafe that we have been talking about.
Yes.
Lulu Cafe. Yeah. You'll see Hassan, who was previously on the podcast there. And if you're in Dubai, you can go, is it Hakayat?
Hakayat Cafe. Hakayat Restaurant. Yeah,
right.
Restaurant and Cafe. Yeah.
Right. And we will have links in the show notes below. And if you have any questions, we will make sure that we include LinkedIn links in the show notes below so that you can connect with Mohammad. Thank you so much again for this series. So you were going to
thank you for having me, and I'm really very grateful for you to have this kind of conversation, because
you're welcome.
A lot of people in the coffee community, even in the university, when talk about the coffee history, I got shameful that there are history, there are people behind it, there are really well documented literal, because I'm Arabic and I read in Arabic, learn in Arabic. I got a chance to really shed a lot of lights on this kind of history. But I hope that really, with help of you, that we can really give good thing to our community, to coffee community,
Inshallah.
and to the world of the coffee, inshallah.
Inshallah. Kathir khairak. Thank you very much for everything that you're doing. And we're going to sign off. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day, everyone. Bye. Thanks for tuning in, friends. There are 2 ways you can support this podcast. Firstly, become a paid member of our YouTube channel. Secondly, you can join our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video before you leave, and check the show notes for more information. Now, this is what you should check out next.